Have you ever told yourself, "I'll pay it off later," and felt perfectly fine about it in the moment? That sentence sounds harmless, practically responsible, but it's one of the most dangerous little promises people make to their future selves. Let me show you a fairly ordinary scene, anywhere from Berlin to Boston. Imagine Anna, 29, software analyst in a mid-sized city. She earns €4,000 a month gross. After taxes and social charges, she brings home about €2,600. Across the Atlantic, picture Mark, 31, a project manager in a U.S. city earning $70,000 a year, roughly $4,300 after taxes each month. Different currencies, similar choices. Anna pays €900 for a one-bedroom near the tram. Mark pays $1,600 for a mortgage on a modest two-bedroom. Both are typical burdens for middle-class and lower-upper-middle-class earners today. Add a used car payment, €260 for Anna, $350 for Mark, and minimum credit card payments, say $70 and $90 respectively. Student loan or personal loan payments tack on another €120 for Anna, $150 for Mark. After those essentials, there's about €1,350 left for Anna and roughly $2,110 left for Mark. That leftover feels like disposable income, but the social world nudges them. A nicer phone, an upgrade to a foreign weekend trip, dinner at the new trendy place, or that good used car lease that looks affordable when you divide it by 30. Each time they think, "I'll pay it off later," they're choosing immediate status or comfort over future optionality. Let's do simple math with one common example. A €1,200 impulsive purchase charged to a card at 18% APR, paid down at the minimum rate of 2% per month. That minimum payment starts around €24, so the balance drops slowly, but interest adds up. After a year, they've paid roughly €260 in interest, and principal barely moved. If they stick to minimums, it can take several years and cost hundreds more in interest. On a $1,200 balance at 20% APR with a 2% minimum payment, you're paying hundreds in interest and could be paying it for 5 years. Now multiply that behavior. 3 impulse charges a year, occasional car upgrades financed because the monthly looks reasonable, and a tendency to roll credit balances into new offers. The monthly minimums become a fixed obligation. That leftover money shrinks. The emergency fund never materializes. Investment contributions stall. Freedom erodes, not because income is low, but because recurring obligations compound and crowd out choices. Why do so many intelligent people fall into this? It's less about ignorance and more about how our brains value time and identity. First, present bias. We give outsized weight to immediate rewards and discount future costs. A nicer dinner tonight carries more emotional weight than a nebulous retirement balance. Second, social signaling. Humans use consumption as status language. In professional circles, appearances matter, not necessarily ostentatious, but current. If everyone at the office updates phones and cars every few years, the tension to match is constant. Third, friction and optimism. Credit makes purchases frictionless. Installment plans and 0% promos feel like harmless leverage, and we assume someday we'll be better with money, a future self who is disciplined and unlucky enough to never face a layoff or unexpected repair. Those psychological patterns combine with system flaws. Lenders design products to be easy now and painful later. Minimum payments keep customers engaged while interest accrues. Leasing and EMI structures present an illusion, small monthly numbers that hide total cost. Financial statements, paychecks, and bank balances are noisy signals. They tell us cash flow now, not cumulative future liabilities. Now, the long-term consequences if this logic persists. If Anna and Mark maintain this pattern for 5 years, they might chronically carry €2,000 to €5,000 in revolving debt. That interest alone can cost €500 to €1,500 per year. More importantly, those recurring payments reduce their ability to save. Compound investing is unforgiving. The same €300 a month invested from age 30 to 65 at a reasonable 6% return becomes roughly €200,000. Divert that €300 to interest and consumption instead, and that future sum disappears. That's not hypothetical glamour, it's quietly missed options, less flexibility to change jobs, buy a house, or retire early. But here's a useful reframing. Financially intelligent people don't have secret hacks. They think differently about commitments. They treat recurring obligations as real line items in their personal budget, not negotiable toys. When they're offered pay later, they mentally convert that into a fixed monthly cost and ask, what would I give up consistently to cover this? They visualize the debt as a permanent fixture, not an abstract promise. That mindset shift makes different decisions feel natural. They also build small guardrails that aren't motivational slogans, but reality checks. For example, instead of asking, can I afford the monthly payment? They ask, if I lose 30% of my income, does this still fit? That single conservative scenario reframes purchases from temporary want to durable liability. It's not fear, it's option preservation. Finally, the math is simple and clarifying. Before buying on credit, translate the charge into total interest at a realistic APR and the effective monthly cost if you plan to repay it in, say, 12 months. Compare that cost to the value you get from the purchase spread over the same period. If a $1,200 purchase will cost $1,450 after interest over a year, does the extra $250 justify the benefit? If it's for status, a slightly larger apartment, a newer car model, remember that status fades, but payments don't. We can close with a calm, practical perspective. Promising your future self that you'll pay it off later is often not a promise at all. It's deferring a real cost without acknowledging its full size. Neither guilt nor grand gestures solve this. Clarity does. Treat future commitments as present facts. Translate purchases into total costs. Ask whether recurring payments would still make sense after a realistic shock. That combination of simple math and sober imagination is what changes outcomes over time. If this made you see one common choice differently, consider liking the video and subscribe if you want more clear story-driven takes without the hype.